How do I start this thing?
Have you plugged the bloody USB in?
Yeah, it's in.
Nah, man, that's the wrong port. Oh, wait, it's flashing now.
Is it it's recording.
Well, let's start this thing, fool!
Hello everyone, I'm Amelia.
Hi, I'm Sam. Welcome to Ask the Duo podcast, a podcast where we get deep into those late night, unfiltered conversations.
We'll be discussing all things lifestyle, relationship, mindset, and more.
Alright, let's get to it! G'day, welcome back.
What's up?
Hello.
And we have Sam here again.
Returning.
Yeah.
Sam from way back.
Yeah. Today, I wanted to pull Sam in this conversation because it's always run through my mind. What is something that, or an advice that we'd always wanted to give our younger selves to learn from?
Being that we are old and wise now. Confucius.
Yeah. So it could be anything, right? Like just based off our experiences in life. What is something that we could turn back time and be like, hey, dude, whether you're 18, 17,
you're doing
whatever it is.
Great job.
Yeah. It's like, yo, dude, you got to fucking be wise, do this so that you would learn from, well, not really learn, but accelerate your learning experience.
Well, it doesn't have to accelerate. It's just like giving some wise words that maybe you were worried about back in the days or you're less worried about today.
Yep.
Is something that you wanted to give advice to your younger self?
I'll just start off. The biggest thing that I would give myself is don't be a dickhead. I think.
Why do you say that?
Well, if I look at myself when I was 18, I was a fucking, I don't know, like, I was such a retard.
Why?
I just think back then, I don't know, just so immature. Like, I reacted to things without actually thinking. I just did things based off just doing it and not really thinking.
Was it something that made you turn out that way, or like you just didn't care about certain things?
I think it's just a immaturity, to be honest. I think if I could go back in time, be like, yo, dude, chill out. Think before you actually make a move. I could have maybe adjusted myself in terms of like what I did, direction that I went, maybe even how I treated things, spent money, that sort of stuff. I think that's where I would start off as first. Sam, you got anything?
I'll tell myself to invest in Bitcoin early when it was worth under $1. Nah, I think maybe to believe in myself more and not be afraid of what other people thought, not to be so nice to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I have something similar to about just not being nice. Like, it's not that you're being nice is bad, but it's also understanding the outcomes from being nice. Sometimes when you're being nice, it's not the best thing for someone. Like, if you feel too bad to say something or something like that, it's not always the best way. And also just giving yourself up and just helping people left, right, and center, but you kind of forget about yourself. That's, something that you need to consider and learn. And some people that you help out may not actually even give you, like, you don't expect something back, but some people don't actually
treat you the same,
appreciate your help, and you're just wasting your time on these people. So it's like, why are you being nice to them?
And sometimes they take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. But something that I would tell myself, like my younger self, is because you live so long under your parents, like teaching you how they do things, and they show you things or ways that you have to do something. But what I've realized as I've kind of like moved out of that mentality where you have to listen to your parents, you realize there's actually so many ways to do something. It's not always, it has to be their way, and that's the right way. Because like once you start learning how other people do things, then you kind of open your eyes and be like, oh, I didn't know that you can actually do it this way and it's actually more efficient, or it's actually smarter, or, you know, it's just completely different. And there's no right way. It's, you know, just understanding that there's multiple ways of doing something.
That's a good point. And I mean, what I didn't also mention was what Sam said, was probably being less of a nice person and more confident in yourself.
Yeah.
To some degree. Obviously, when you're young, you're fresh in reality, right? You just finish high school, whatever it is.
No, like you grow up and say media and shit just portrays you as a certain type or stereotypes. Do you know what I mean? You grow up and everyone around you treats you a certain way because of how you look or your ethnicity. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually true. The main thing was Asians are timid.
Yeah.
Like gentle and...
Oh, there's book smart.
Book smart, yeah. Book smart.
Oh, they're shit at sports, whatever. I fucking destroyed swimming, athletics, rugby, everything back when I was young. So fuck you guys.
Was there any like personal experiences that you guys had from that though? Like trying to fit into a stereotype or trying to not fit into a stereotype?
I like maths.
But you actually did though.
Yeah.
You enjoyed maths.
Yeah, I was good at maths. I enjoyed it. Maths was good because there was a problem, you solved it. There's only one way to have that solution. So one answer.
It's like a definite answer.
Yeah.
You know when it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like set procedure, which is a formula. And when that works, that's your answer.
Yeah, that's it.
There's no other way to get around it. Sorry, what was the question again?
You're the host. You tell me.
No, you asking us.
What? Some advice you tell your younger self?
No, the question that you mentioned.
It's just, I don't know. Did you feel, was there some certain personal experience that made you feel like you needed to fit into a stereotype, or made a point that you don't actually need to fit into a stereotype? Like, for example, like Asians are timid or something. Like, did you have to stand up to that, or? Yeah,
so my upbringing, I experienced a lot of bullying and racism at school. So a lot of, let's say, Westerners, they were more like, oh, because you're Asian, you're weak. You are known more to just be book smart, like Sam was saying. You're skinny. Just that physical appearance was like, you're weak, you're skinny, just get the fuck out of here kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like during my high school upbringing, that was all that I had to deal with.
Yeah.
And it was harder because there wasn't many Asians at my school. So if there were Asians, we would gangbang the fuck out of them. So that was the only way that we could get around those sort of situations.
Like, so because you've been bullied and there's no other way to show them like how to respect you but to actually fight back.
Yeah, that was the only way to do it. And the best way was to gangbang them, where you'd get a group of Asians and you beat the fuck out of each and every single person one by one, and that's the only way that you can teach them a lesson, because there's more Westerners at my school. So even if we had a group, we don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
So it's easier to fuck each and every individual person one by one, and that's how you would teach them a lesson. But that's a different kind of topic.
But like in terms of advice to your younger self in that position, do you have a different advice, or would you stay the same?
If I were to turn back time, I would probably be more confident in myself and stand ground. I would also teach myself to be probably a little bit more physically confrontational, because I was more respectful, because I was always growing up taught to be like, hey, don't do anything, don't start shit. Be respectful.
Don't make yourself the center of attention.
Yeah.
Like you have to live in the shadows.
Yeah, live in the shadows. Don't do this or that where everyone's looking at you as that center of attention.
Yeah.
So that's definitely what I would teach myself, or go back and tell myself, is to be more confident in myself, whether it's through physical appearance or whether it's through the use of words and being more confident.
Yeah. Something that comes off the back of that though, like being respectful and talking back, that's something that I would tell my younger self too, is don't be afraid to talk back. Like obviously don't talk back in a rude manner, but I think it's more predominant maybe in the Asian culture. It's like when your parents tell you something, you're not allowed to talk back. Like if you talk back, you're rude. Like that's just, whatever you say is rude. So it's telling my younger self that it's actually okay to talk back, but yes, keep it respectful, but be able to speak your mind, because that's something that's actually been a struggle of mine. Is even in life now, if something happens, sometimes I can't, like I do it more now, but I always have this, I second guess myself in things that I want to say back, and I'm like, oh, is this disrespectful? Is this wrong? Am I being rude? And those are always the first thoughts that I have before I even say something.
Yeah.
And that's just been ingrained in my mind. So it's just letting myself know that saying something is not always a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think stand up for yourself if you're in the right, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't keep quiet, keep it in, even though you're right. I think that's the worst thing. Where you have to feel so helpless, even though you're right.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to do something, but you're forced to do it. Yeah, that's the shittiest feeling. Hopelessness.
And I think having just dialing back on what you said, like the Asian upbringing and that sort of stuff, I think that the parents' mind frame of being like, stay quiet, just live in the shadows kind of thing, that kind of does apply to just in general, like in our earlier days, because we were taught to be respectful.
Yeah.
So even if we were in a confrontational situation, it's more like, well, hang on, like that's it kind of thing.
Yeah, and you can't show your emotions, you can't cry, you can't like do any of that. Like you're pretty much a rock, a brick wall, and you just can't show anything, can't say anything.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of like, I guess you could say discrimination or people looking down on us, because
we don't fight.
Yeah,
back.
we don't have
We don't
any.
fight. They see us as like timid, submissive people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like we have no reaction.
Yeah.
But that's just the way we were taught.
Yeah.
It's different these days, though.
Yeah.
It's very different. Yeah.
Yeah, nowadays it's different.
They weren't culturally understanding, like less culturally understanding back then, and had less of an understanding about different cultures and multicultural country, I guess.
Well, yeah, we weren't in general in Australia. It's just no one was cultured.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's not get political.
Oh, well, yeah, that was, back in those days, that was what was happening. So, we were very uncultured.
Yeah. So was there any other things advice that you want to tell your younger self?
I'll leave it for Sam.
Don't eat too much food. Rice is very carby. Yep.
Legit?
Nah. I think I was pretty skinny growing up until I hit uni and became a fat fuck.
I think we're all skinny.
Yeah. I think just have more fun growing up. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't spend all your time studying and shit.
But it's also hard because your parents are so strict and like monitoring you. So it's like, how do you even have fun?
That is true.
Like I wasn't even allowed out. Like just going to the shopping centers, my parents would like trail behind me just because I wanted to hang out with my friends. And like you need to beg for that and like have like a whole presentation report and be like why you deserve to go out.
Especially being a girl as well.
Yeah, that too. It was so hard.
What I would also add is understanding the value of money, because we were never taught that during school. Like school
like
doesn't
our parents
teach you.
doesn't teach us that.
Yeah, and our parents never taught us that too. So I think if I had some understanding of what money actually meant and what people do to earn money, that would have made me probably appreciate hard work in terms of having a job, working and earning money. Because I think we were just basically going to school, studying, doing this while our parents were earning money. But we didn't realize how hard they were working during that time because we were so young, we were immature.
And you don't realize where the money comes from. You just think like money comes in, money goes out. That's like
Right.
your
My
basic
parents taught me.
understanding.
My parents
Really?
showed me, yeah. Yeah.
That's good though.
That's good.
'Cause my
What
dad
they
would just
say?
come home so late working at the restaurants and shit. And she'll tell my mom would be my mom would be the one that tells us how hard it is for money to come in and stuff.
That's
Yeah.
good.
But
Yeah.
I grew up knowing the value of money. So yeah, that was pretty good. But yeah, the school system needs to teach kids how to do their taxes, investment, just simple shit
Lifestyle
that they don't,
education.
that they don't teach anyone. So you have all these teenagers like spending whatever they make on stupid shit instead of thinking about their futures with it. And then they grow up and they're like, oh fuck, I can't afford something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I think that's really good that your mum taught you
Yeah,
guys.
like we saw it. Like my dad would make so and so much money, and then she'll tell us, oh, this much percentage goes into our school fees and shit. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, just to show us.
That's pretty good.
That's actually really good.
So that's why I think that's why all my siblings, like, they're pretty well off because of that, because they know the value of money.
Yeah, that's good. Because like my parents work really late as well. Like I think my dad did 3 jobs or something, like juggled that, and he was practically never home. But like when you're young, you don't correlate working hard and like where money comes from. So I never knew. It's just like always like thinking my dad's never around kind of thing. So I never correlated that, and also like working hard and like savings and all that kind of stuff. You just think like, oh, magically your school fees get paid off, and that's like all you ever like kind of thought about. So it's good that they like taught you.
Yeah, my parents didn't really talk about money. It was more about like understand how hard your parents are working to feed you guys and that sort of stuff, but never like talking about how much money is like a portion of that, how your mum broke it down. I think that was really good that you had that, because then that would have made me go, fuck.
Yeah, you realize it from day one.
Yeah, because as soon as I started earning money, I spent my money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Links back to that rich is being rich everything. Like once you get the money, you feel like you can just spend it, but that's not the right way.
And I think it was a part of me was more about having a good time, because between the transition from year 12 to university,
Big jump.
It was a massive difference.
The freedom.
Yeah.
Like
straight to uni, and then you're like,
straight to uni. But not even just that. You don't even know what direction you want to like go or take.
Yeah.
Because your high school, like, yes, you do your QCS or whatever, and
the
you have a
QTAC
direction.
shit, and then you put down 6 courses that you think you'll want to do for the rest of your life.
And
Order them from 1 to 6, and then you get to pick. Oh, well, they pick you into whatever, depending on whatever OP you got, and then that's where your life starts. But too bad it doesn't work that way. Everyone changes their shit straight away.
Yeah,
exactly. And that was a struggle for me, because it was like, well, I didn't give a shit about high school. Finished high school, I was more like, I had a girlfriend at the time, so I was like, ooh, I know what pussy tastes like.
Hells
so I was more like trying to have fun, trying to have a good time. And then you get your first job, and then you work, and then you realize, okay, now I have money, I can go out and have fun.
You neglect your studies.
You neglect your studies because it's not.
You rather hang out with your friends, have fun.
Yeah.
And later on, you realize, oh fuck, I just wasted so much time, money, and basically time that you can't get back.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
That's actually one of my points I was going to say. Is just actually intentionally think about your future, like even when you're younger, even if it's not like a definite goal that you want, but at least have a thought about where you want to go, what you want to do. Be intentional, because I was the same thing in high school. I didn't give a shit, but that's also based off because I studied so hard when I was in primary school, getting so much of like good grades. I kind of felt like I was ahead, so I kind of gave up. So in high school, I didn't care. So everything was just having fun, going out. And then when I went to uni, same thing. It was all about having fun. So I didn't have a job either, and not understanding the value of money, I was just like, I don't need a job. Like I'm studying, and all I need to do is like study and have fun, and that's it. So I didn't even like push myself to go find a job, and that's the one thing that I regret. And what I tell my sister now is to do part-time uni and find a job, because experience overrules everything else. Like you can study a degree, but that's not going to do anything if you have no real world experience.
Yeah. And that was what I was going to say, even when I was in high school, was I should have worked.
Yeah. Or just like know your career paths or what you enjoy doing, instead of letting other people dictate what paths you have to take. Oh, you did this. You're good at English, good at maths. Oh, go fucking become this. It's actually stupid.
Well, they just try different things. Like try it out. some people in high school played with Photoshop, and it's like that's actually really good because they ended up being like a good graphic designer, or like played tweaking with like MySpace and all that kind of stuff and become a developer. Whereas like for me, I didn't do any of that. I was just like go to school, go home, go out with friends, that's it.
And I think working would have made me personally understand how hard I needed to work, but also having real life experience in the workforce, it forces you to realize, like, what do I actually enjoy? Do I like customer service? Do I like food industry? What do I want to do? Like,
especially when you realize you're working minimum wage, $10 an hour. You know what I mean? And then you get taxed on top of that, and then just doing everything as an adult, fresh out of high school.
Or even just working for the actual skills. Like customer service is something that you need anywhere. So it's just picking that up early and knowing how to treat people. Because when you're young, like you're pretty much reckless. You don't really care about other people's thoughts. And you might just be like, nah, I don't want to do that. But really, like in a job, if someone's telling you to do something, you kind of have to do it. So it's just knowing etiquette, like manners and customer service. Those kind of things are like basic life skills that you need.
Yeah. And also work ethic.
Yeah.
Well. Because when I started working, I was like, these guys have been here for fucking ages, and then why are they such shit workers? Little things like that.
Yeah, and I think that all comes with experience, right? As you do more and work for longer
in different places,
get exposed.
And you're like, oh,
you learn from other people, from their experiences. You see how people deal with it, like deal with certain things, and that's how it forces you to learn as well.
Yeah, and if you get like a good manager or like a supervisor or something, they can become your mentor too. Like you don't have to specifically be like, oh, can you be my mentor? But just following under their footsteps, they can be a good mentorship lesson to you as well.
Even having good teachers, like in high school, out of all my teachers, I think there was only one good, decent teacher that maybe two. But one guy actually like changed the way we thought about life, I guess, and work. And that was in grade 9.
Yeah.
Like he started on us early, and that wasn't even like a normal subject. It was like what was it for? It's called IST or some shit. But yeah, it's like for like the smarter kids or some shit. And there was like maybe 30 of us. And he'll just change the way we thought about life because he'll throw real world shit at us. Like in grade 9, he somehow got us to go to UQ and not play with, but have a look at like cadavers, like dead bodies and shit, for anatomy and stuff. Yeah, things like that. Yeah, that was different. Like, no, I don't think any other 13 or 14-year-old kids were allowed to like have access to shit like that.
Yeah.
Only med students and dent students were allowed.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
At that age too, dead
so that like knocked out half the class because they fainted at the sight of the smell and the bodies. So half of those guys won't be able to do med or dent. So
But I think you need those experiences where it forces you to actually get a reality check.
Yeah, like actually challenges you, and like makes you think outside the box.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what we're lacking a lot in today's society. And obviously what we were going up as well is just reality.
Yeah, that's why I think when, like, I get it that parents, when they're really strict on you and you have to listen to them, you can't talk back. I feel like, yes, that's good with good intentions, but it's not always the best thing because then you're so babied. Like everything needs to be under supervision. And that's the one thing about me. Everything was so supervised that when I went out into the real world, I feel like I always have to ask for permission to do something as simple as like, can I say this or can I order this food on the menu? Like that was actually what it's like. And it's not the best thing for you because you just can't live your life without that, the training wheels that you have with you for so long.
Yeah. It's important though, right? When you actually think about that stuff. Because you don't realize that your parents kind of like were training you in a certain way.
They're molding you for the...
Yeah, they were molding you to a certain degree, but obviously it was probably applied in the non-ethical way.
Yeah.
Like it was so harsh and it didn't make sense.
To them, that's probably how they were brought up.
Yeah. And they probably got
different
it
here.
worse.
Yeah, exactly. Way worse.
Yeah. They probably got it real fucked up. It's a good learning curve for us now. If we have kids, then at least we can
Best
apply
of both
it.
worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like there are good things that come out of it because now we have become like really respectful, not disrespectful, really respectful, and just know how to actually listen to people when you need to, and not just do something because you wanted to do it, and it's like considering other people's like thoughts or feelings and that kind of stuff. So it's good and bad. Like it just like there's things that you can still learn from it.
I mean, to summarize it, I mean, Sam, like what would you turn back in time to tell yourself? Obviously, you said to be more confident and
more happy. Think about what you enjoy more doing and what you can see yourself doing in the future, like career wise. Yeah, because everyone fucking QTAC and shit's stupid.
And I think for me, it's similar. Probably more about being more confident in myself, in the way I carried myself, in all aspects, the way I talked, the way I looked. Take advantage of actually working, because I think that's the biggest difference with Westerners during our time was their parents forced their kids to be an adult. Like as soon
they
as
start
they're
working
18,
at 14 as well.
Yeah, like you're on your own, man.
like as soon as they're 18, they're out of the house.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're forced to live on their own, that sort of stuff. Yeah, I do agree to some degree to do that, but at the same time, I don't. But in terms of forcing them to learn, I think that's really good.
Yep.
And I kind of wish that we did the same thing because we would have understood what real life threw at us.
Yeah.
And the responsibilities that we had to deal with.
Yeah, I think if we're going to merge the two learnings from like an Asian culture upbringing and then like a Westerners one, I think it'll be good. There's like a good balance on like knowing how to respect people and also going out to earn money for yourself and all those kind of things.
Yeah, and I think there's also the balance, right, of spending money too.
Yeah.
Which I knew fuck all about. You know what I mean? Like I was spending money like a motherfucker. Just spending money on stupid shit and then not actually saving it or like allocating money, which what your mum did was really good, like to teach you guys, because I think most Asian parents don't do that.
Yeah.
Or they don't talk about that shit.
Yeah. I think I was on the other end of the spectrum is like, because money is so precious, I'm always holding on to money. But I think it's good that your parents would taught you like how to invest or
like we had piggy banks and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Like,
yeah,
we just crack it open like once a year. But then if we didn't take any, if we use our money, we wouldn't get anything that week or some shit like extra. But then if we put it in, my mom would put more in, like interest kind of thing. Yeah, that was good.
That's good. Yeah, I just held on to the money, like say because we get those red pockets for Chinese New Year. I just hold on to that. I would never touch it. And like even now that's my mentality is like when I get money I just hold on to it. Whereas like if you think the bigger picture or think smarter, like actually try and use that saving to invest into something, because holding on to it doesn't really grow. Like there's actually more ways in terms of growing your savings or spending or investing than just holding on to your money.
Yeah, and I think also on that was my parents didn't really, I mean, they did see investments, but they didn't take investments too serious because it's all about being safe.
And risk as well.
Yeah, the risk was never there because they always thought, well, as long as you have a family, you've got your own home.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. You know what I mean? And anytime they look at debt, it's no deal. It's like, oh, if you have debt, no.
Like
we need
negative
cash.
gearing is bad or something like that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you need cash. You need to have money. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you are successful.
Yeah.
But I don't think they understood there were other means to actually gain.
Yeah. They'd rather work super hard than to, I guess, work and earn easily.
Yeah.
Like smarter ways.
They went.
But then the English barrier was also a thing. Because I think if my parents were fluent in English, they'll be doing things differently. Or if they didn't have to go to uni again and they could bring their degrees from Vietnam over, that'll be totally different too.
Yeah, and I think it's also hard because the language barrier, which means that they don't trust putting their money in someone else's hands, like a financial planner, because you can't communicate, and also you're giving your money to someone else, and that's like a big risk for them.
Yeah. And they also trust in dodgy Vietnamese accountants
who give you extra returns or something.
Yeah, and you know what the funny thing is during our parents' time, there was a Viet dude that basically helped all the fresh off the boat Vietnamese Chinese people, and basically he used to pull money. I think he was a scammer, but he used to pull money from different people and be like, "Oh, if you..."
Oh, the withdrawing shit.
I think it was that, but he was like, "Oh, if you invest money, we can
Grow
gain
it.
like compound interest." But then
He just ran
did
away with
some-
it.
Yeah, he like did some dodgy shit where he would just
hell?
run
Poor
off.
Hui.
So there was,
Hui.
yeah, there was like,
Oi, oi.
No, it's like everyone has to put money in every week and shit. And then if someone needs the money, they take it out, but then they lose their spot in that kind of thing. Then basically the
Yeah.
last person to take the money out gets all the interest kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
most of those cunts just run away with it. Yeah.
yeah. So
So
that
dodgy.
during that time, like there was a lot of those.
Yeah,
kind of
there's
guys.
heaps of them.
And that's why, like, I think our parents probably didn't really look too further into like advisors or anything like that.
Or like proper stocks and shit. Because imagine Apple stocks back then. They were nothing.
It was
Yeah,
shit,
then
man.
Steve Jobs came
Yeah.
along.
But I think also in just being in their like parents' position, they know how dodgy things are, especially coming over from like third world countries or like less fortunate countries. They know how people can be untrustworthy and dodgy, and they might have that same expectation in Australia, and they're like, nah, can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
And that's why they're a bit like that.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? But I mean, for you, what would you...
Yeah, so the summary of what my main ones is, you know, be able to talk back, but yeah, like keep the respectful, be respectful on how you talk back, but yeah, be okay to say something or how you feel, be open about, you know, if you're unhappy about something, just, yeah, speak your mind, don't hold it back, and also be open to think that there are other ways to do things. Just because you've learnt it from your parents or something that you've done a whole way, be open to see or think for yourself how to do something better or in a different way so that it's efficient. Like, don't just think one way and that's it. And then, yeah, just think about your future earlier in your younger years, even if you don't know what the definite answer is, but just at least understand what you enjoy and what you like doing, or even do a hobby just to help you understand those things. And I think that's about it for mine.
I think yeah, we all come from different experiences in terms of how we grew up and
Yeah.
what we went through. So yeah, it all plays some way or form, right? So
Yeah, it helps build you to where you are today as well. And like, it's good that you've gone through these, because even though, yeah, it could be something that you tell your younger self, but you wouldn't know these things until you've actually gone through it.
yeah,
like,
of
when
course.
you're young.
But then at the same time, as life progresses, your experiences is what forms who you are at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't change that shit.
Yeah. So if you haven't even gone through these, you wouldn't even know how to end up speaking your own thoughts if you didn't know that you weren't allowed to back then. Like, you held in so much, you didn't talk about it. But like, if you didn't go through that, you didn't know that you can actually speak up.
Well, I think that's it. So let us know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Is there something that you wish that you could tell your younger self that could be different, that could shape you differently now?
Any advice? Welcome. That's it for now.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much if you have reached to the end. We really appreciate you for tuning in. And if you like what you hear, please share it with your friends or family and subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you are listening to.
Make sure you share any topics you'd like us to cover or questions you might have to our Instagram.
Slide it into our DMs.
Bigger. You can also stay in the loop of all the behind the scenes and the release of our new episodes there too. Our Instagram is Ask the Duo Podcast. That's AskTheDuo Podcast. Man, feels like I'm in a spelling bee competition right now. Alright, that's it for now, and we'll see you back here for our next episode. Bye!
See ya!